Howdy everybody. Just thought I'd do a quick update. Been trading messages with Fred about the next step, and what I need to do is to run the locomotive on air and make sure everything runs and works fine, and also check for leaks, because obviously I've added a lot of things, the boiler and all of its attachments, since I last ran it. So let's start at this end and talk about the things that I've done to prepare. I'm looking at the fittings here. These are the refrigeration hose fittings that I got, and that go to the water lines. This will be the water supply to the axle pump, and it doesn't go to a valve. It just goes straight to a fitting on the tender that doesn't have a cutoff. This line is the one that's the return line that's coming back, and it'll go to the bypass valve that's in the tender, and I'll show that at some later date. I've cut the hoses here, and these are 1/4 inch inside diameter refrigeration hoses, and I'll end up using fittings like this. The barbs on these are a little bit too big, so I'm going to see if I can get some smaller ones. This one here, this came out of one of these refrigeration hoses. In fact, it was the one over there that I redid with a 5/16 inch line that'll be the water supply to the injector. So I'm going to see if I can find some smaller hose barbs that'll go in 1/4 inch hose, and that'll set me up for the that side of things. Let me over here. This is the fixture that I had made with the elbow and the ball valve to use as a drain, and also for filling with water. And I think this will be a good way to add the air to the boiler for the air test. So I got that this coupler here for a conventional air compressor will go on, and this is 1/8 inch pipe, and it goes into this little elbow down here, and obviously I need to make sure that's open. This is a little stopper that goes with it, and along here I plug the extra hole in the boiler, and I did something else on this, so I'll show you now. I had not screwed the safeties in tightly, but as you can see, they're screwed in tightly now with some sealer around them. I also made, I'm sure I'll have to remake it, but that tall piece of brass there, when I got the boiler from Marty Knox, it came with a little 1/16 inch pipe drilled and tapped in the center of the steam dome. So what I did, I took a brass rod tonight, and I threaded it with a 1/16 inch pipe. I used a die in the lathe, and I did 5/16 24 fine threads up here, and I just stacked a couple of nuts on it so I could cinch it in there nice and tight. So that's all secure. Moving around to the front. This is the cool part I haven't showed for a long time, but there's the blower line in there in place, and the front header bar, which was silver soldered months ago, maybe a year ago. And I had turned a little brass piece. Let me show it to you right here. I put that in with some sealer. I made it a real tight fit, so I put some sealer around it and tapped it in snug. I also had put a little sealer around this clean out line there, and tightened it in. So we should be in good shape there. Those are the water lines that I finished yesterday to the injector, and the steam lines to the whistle and to the injector there. Oh yeah, I had taken this off. I went ahead and put it back on, the little turret that I made for the American Model Engineering brass pressure gauge. So I put that in nice and tight with some sealer, and I put the banjo fitting on. Didn't use any sealer on the banjo fitting because I didn't want to get anything gummed up inside the valve itself. But it's looking cool there and complete, and I think we're in good shape. Everything should be tight. We'll find out when we put a little air in it and start testing things out. And I think the only fitting that I didn't mention, this one here of course goes to the gas control valve. This locomotive will burn propane. So anyway, making steps. I think I'll finish fabricating these lines. I may as well, while I'm thinking about it, the lines that'll go to the tender, the water supply. lines and double check all of that. I don't think there's room enough for my tender on the stand here, so that'll be interesting. I guess we can put the locomotive out on the picnic table for its test runs, but I'll double check everything, finish those lines, and then I'll block it up and secure it so that it can run on air. I have to put some little blocks in underneath the springs, and I'm starting a new job tomorrow. Pretty excited about that, so it'll be a little while before I provide any updates, I think, but hopefully we'll be steam testing this thing soon. And thanks again for watching. I'll keep you posted.